Hello, YouTube. We began the week with Philip Moss, being interviewed by Harassment Burns. Hurrah! Oh, God! About the explosion, the horses, the bunting, the stealing of sugar, and the disappearance of Lord Lucan, and anything else we can pin the blame on him for. I have to say he's convincing, Philip, even if he wasn't being interviewed by someone as catastrophically dense as Harassment. He's a crafty bugger. He even merrily sold his own son down the river. Give him a week and he'll be hinting that Krusty's running a black market solvent outfit from the Gay Grable's gym. He gave Blake a good review though. Blake was diligent, apparently. When he did a job, he really did it thorough, said Philip. Like when he made toast, he really made toast. Then we went over to Ambridge Hall to superintend the moving of Lindy Bottom's bed downstairs. Lillian brought over a Japanese fire screen. Call me oversensitive, but you'd think the last thing the poor woman would want to see when she wakes up swathed in bandages is a fire screen. Bit tactless. Linda's still tetchy with Robert, and to be frank, I can see why. She just wanted to come in, have a sit down, a cup of tea, and see the dog. Instead, she found Leonie, a shop cake, her bed on the front doorstep, and then Robert saying, "There's someone here to see you." The door burst open and a big bouncy thing jumped on the bed and licked her. Then Freddie went home and Monty came in. It's honestly like the whole of Ambridge has been given the Ladybird book of how not to treat an invalid, and they are all dutifully reading it and are acting accordingly. For a start, Robert's tension has had a direct effect on his vocal cords, and if he gets any higher, only dolphins will be able to see him. Right, in the chair, Lindy. Setting aside the moments that again make you glad none of your nearest and dearest happened to be listening to the exchange, like when Linda said, "I'm just applying my cream," followed by Robert responding, "Okay, I'm going to check on the llamas." We had Lillian coming in to see her and saying, "Oh, you're talking and walking. You're like a living doll, Linda." And then they forced her to go to the Easter Fair. And as luck would have it, just at the moment Kenton discovered his megaphone, right where Jolene had hidden it last. The Easter Fair is described as having a sense of occasion because it boasted a 3-foot chocolate rabbit from Lidl. For goodness sake, if having severe burns, a shattered pelvis and shock isn't enough to allow poor Linda to get out of the Easter Fair, then what is? Krusty continues to get the shitty end of the stick, whatever she does. She managed to dodge out of her dinner with Helen. She just said she had a bit of a dry cough and a temperature, and then accidentally found herself half-heartedly watercolouring papier-mâché Easter eggs with the Reverend Hebden Lloyd. Shula decided to practice her clerical voice, which she's using nearly all the time now. They sat down together and Shula cleared her throat and said, "You know, on my way here this evening, I saw a cow with a swollen udder. And you know, life's a little bit like that, isn't it? We can all feel like cows with swollen udders sometimes." And at that point, Krusty went berserk and smashed Bernard the Chocolate Rabbit's head in with a bottle of Prosecco. But then, fortunately, right on cue, Alan appeared. I've realised what Alan is. He's a Church of England vampire. He slips into an old veg box coffin and goes into stasis till the 23rd of December and Good Friday. Then he wafts around the village, glad-handing people and telling them God loves them. Then he clambers back in. Shula is obsessed with the Bishop's Advisory Panel session, or BAPS. Not everyone is as obsessed with your BAPS as you are, Shula. It's about strengths and weaknesses, and I don't know what to say, Alistair. I don't have any weaknesses, she said. Alistair, who, having gained our sympathy in his excellent behaviour to his father, seems to have a blind spot as big as the Bermuda Triangle about his erstwhile missus. He has offered to coach her. "I'm going to set you some real testers," he said. "Not like, what's your favourite biscuit? Like, what's your favourite cake? Ha ha!" More complaints at Gay Grable's. Room 37 smells funny. It's toast. Or it could be the staff. Light is slowly dawning on Roy about his interview with Blake. Now he's had an entire week to mull it over. The thing is with Roy is that beneath that gormless exterior lies a gormless interior. For those that care, Billy Button would have won Bernard the Chocolate Bunny had Krusty not stoved its head in, so he won a frog with a hat on instead, and he also managed to spell out either arse, arseholes, or Arsenal Football Club, depending on how many eggs he found. And we end with Ed and Emma. Look, I know when they wrote this we weren't in the grip of a global pandemic, but I cannot stand any more uncertainty. I want to know things for certain, like when I'm going to be allowed to go to the pub, when I can get some self-raising flour, and when I can stop putting "hope you're all staying well" at the end of every email. I want Ed and Emma to either get together or stay apart. I now actually don't care which. I just cannot bear this alternate week shilly-shallying. Is it my week to understand you, Ed, or yours to misunderstand me? And who do they go to for advice? Tracy, a woman who's currently going out with a washed-up act with an identity crisis, and Ed turns to a man in his mid-30s who's never had a permanent relationship and spends his days hiding in a fish tank drinking lager. Emma talked to Ed while he's trying to oversee an Easter hat decorating competition, for crying out loud. Their idea of an in-depth confidential chat is to say, come over here a minute. Maybe talk to each other for longer than 10 minutes. As you know, it's quite a serious thing, this, and it could be worth devoting, I don't know, maybe a half hour of your time to. Either way, just make your bloody minds up. We are all on a short fuse here. Thank you. The end. Have a lovely week.
If you enjoyed watching Lucy v Freeman give you loads of gossip about Ambridge, and I don't know why you would, I'm not a fan of gossip myself, then you can subscribe to this channel by clicking the button. That means you won't miss any more updates on what's going on. And you can also listen to Lucy Roifield and other The Archers listeners on Dumpty Dum, the weekly podcast. Don't tell anyone I said anything though, will you?